Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you how I apply cream products on top of an already set with a ton of powder face. So cream products on top of powders. A lot of people think that this is just something that you can't do. Of course it's going to lift, or it's going to be cakey, or it's going to be all these things, and it's not. This is something that I do all the time. It has basically become my new routine, and I've had somebody ask, mainly it was specifically about how I use the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and show the whole process of what I do when I am putting my cream products on top of my already set makeup. So if you'd like to see the products that I use along with some other suggestions, so I don't want to just show you guys 3 products and be like, that's it. I want to give you guys some other options as well, some things I've really been enjoying. You're in the right place. Just keep watching. The very first thing I do, of course, is start off with my powder and foundation, concealer, all of that. So I do that, and then I go in with my bronzer. Now you might be thinking, I thought we were using cream products here. I like to balance things out. So I want to mattify where I feel like I get a little bit more texture right here, and I definitely have powders, like my Huda Beauty powder will just smooth this area, make it look like a butter, and I love that. I have combination skin, and I wouldn't say that my skin is super textured, but it's mainly the pores that I am worried about. So I like to just make sure that I have a very smooth canvas before I go in with something that could possibly accentuate pores, or if I have a breakout. Like I have a breakout right here right now. I don't know if you can see it on camera right now, seeing as everything is matte, but possibly after I go in with the creams. Now that I have all of that done, I go in with a bronzer. Now you're probably thinking, why are you going in with bronzer? You're going to be using cream products. Because I don't want my cream products, as of right now, my method is not to have my cream bronzer all over my forehead, all down, it's just everywhere. I want it in specific places. And my go-to is now this bronzer. I have been obsessed with this. I didn't want to put it in my favorites right away because I wanted to make sure, but I have been grabbing for this quite a bit. It is the new Wayne Goss, the Radiance Boosting Face Palette. I don't really use the contour side. This is the medium one, which is called it is called Satin Bronze. If I were to use both sides, my favorite one is the deepest one. I just have to be very, very, very careful with it. But this bronzer is so beautiful, and it gives the radiance, and it looks very skin-like, but it's not a cream. And I really love this on a day where I'm wearing a more natural foundation, more natural everything. It looks even better. But this is what I have on right now, and I just have it, you know, lightly applied all over where I would naturally be bronzed. And now I'm going to go in with my creams. Now you have 2 options here. I have already sprayed my face. I've taken the Dominique Cosmetics, what is this called? I don't see the name. It is the Ultra Hydrating Fine Mist. Now, it's truly fine. Like I could use this again, and it's not going to do anything as in make my face too luminous or too dewy or anything like that. It's very fine. The good thing about doing that is that you will make your powder sink into your face, and it won't be as distinct of like powder and then cream. So I really like to do that, but I don't always do it. It just depends on, again, what type of foundation, how much powder I've used, and all of that. But this is a really great spray to use if you want to just lightly apply something. But if you want an extra dewy, or you really want to go in and have that just amazing glow, My favorite one is the Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. So good, but you can also use Fix Plus, whatever. And again, you don't have to do it at all. The very first cream that I put on is my bronzer or contour. Really, I'm using it more as a definer, so I would say that it's more of a contour because I'm really kind of cutting out this part of my cheek, adding some definition, and I'm just using a cream to do so. By far my favorite out of everything that I have used has been this palette, and it is from Tom Ford. It is the Shade and Illuminate, and I use Intensity 0.5. I absolutely adore this. It's just absolute perfection. Patrick Ta recently came out with one. It's really great as well. It's just, I like this one more. And the Patrick Ta one on me turns just a little bit too gray. I don't want it to be that much of a contour. I prefer something a little bit more neutral or a little bit warmer. And this is a little bit more neutral. So let me open this up. And as you can see, you have an Illuminate and then a shade. This is my favorite brush to use. It doesn't matter which formula I'm using, and at the end of this, after I've applied everything, I will share with you a few of my other favorites. Currently, I have several favorites or several things I really like to use when it comes to creams, but I'm going to show you some other options so that you're not just seeing the Tom Ford. But I'm going to dip my brush in. I'm not picking up too much product. And then I have to make sure, like, these hairs are ridiculous. What is this? So I have to make sure that those are out of the way. And then I will start stamping a little higher up. Let's see. And then blend. Do you see how effortlessly this blends into my skin? Now, if I look straight on, I have a natural line that will just go right through here. So I try to stop my contour or defining cream, whatever you want to call it, here. And then I blend it out. So when I do this, sometimes it can look like, especially when I look straight on, that I brought it further down, but I actually haven't. Do you see it's not lifting my foundation or anything like that, and I'm just blending it in. And then I like to take the excess and go right on down. I'm going to show you again on the opposite side. I do not use this up here just because I don't want the color there. And this has a softer kind of neutral gray undertone, but it's just not too much. I always find this side to be easier. Like, I feel like this is just a little bit more neutral. Do you see how easy? And using stamping motions is going to be your best friend. This way you are not lifting up your foundation. You're applying it and blending it out. Don't feel bad. You can use your fingers or even wipe off your brush. Get the excess off and then go around. But you're going to be putting blush on top of it anyway, so if it's a little harsh, it's not too bad. And you can go in with your foundation sponge. This is a sponge I use for my foundation. So I'll just go right around the edge. I mean, it's been sitting there for forever. I've already filmed my eye look and everything, so it's been sitting there. But that is that. I think it looks so nice. It looks a little silly right now because it's all by itself. But in the end, it's like absolute perfection. Then I'm going to go in with my highlight. This one and this one are my go-tos. This obviously I already told you what it is. Thought it was limited edition, but they have brought it back as limited life so you can get your hands on it, and you got to see this. I wish this whole thing was a cream because it would be just so much better for me. It is the La Mer The Glow highlighter, so it's a duo. This side, if you want to be more intense or use as a blush topper, it's beautiful. When I wanted a more intense glow, I used this all the time, but there's this little doohickey here that will cover up your cream. Can you see this? This is, yeah, that is what I've done to this. So I am going to put on one side this, and I'm going to use this on the other so you can see the difference. This one is a little bit more intense than what the one in the Tom Ford is. I either use the butt or the side of the sponge. I'm gonna squeeze the butt of this because I really need to get in here. It is like all over the place. Luckily, I have backups of this. Okay, so I've got it on and I'm just going to stamp this onto my skin and you'll start to see the glow, and it does not lift at all. You can use a brush with this, but for me, I find that the sponge just works a little bit better with this formula and getting it just like blended into the skin. And I think it's a little smoother. I mean, look at that. I'm in love. And I'm going to put a little bit of that on my nose. It's just so pretty and it smells so good. I just wish they would make this a permanent item. And I like to kind of take it down and connect to where my contour is, because my blush is going to go right in between there too. And I'm going to bring it up over. Do you see? So beautiful. And then I'm going to put some on my chin. Gorgeous. It just looks like it's lit from within. And it just makes your skin look so healthy. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the bottom of this sponge and I will use the Tom Ford on the opposite eye, or cheek. So grabbing a little bit of this, and I am just going to do the same thing. This looks more wet. This one's a little bit more emollient. It is so pretty, and I got my hair stuck in it. All these little baby hairs, they're just like, want to go wherever they want to go. And don't worry if you bring it too far in. I've got a fixer for that. So this, I don't think that if you have this, or if you want this color and you also want the La Mer, I don't think that you need both. I will tell you that when you first get this, this is a little bit more creamy, so it's not as intense, but after a week of using it, it goes to like this. Perfection. I just feel like it makes my skin look so good. I'm going to add some of that to my nose too, because I'm being extra. So now I've got myself just glowing, and I love it. I feel like my skin just looks so healthy. Now for blush. So many options here. I'm going to go in with my LYS in Kindness. Again, I will show you other ones to use. And I like to use synthetic brushes with these. The one that I want to use, I just washed, so it is wet. It is from BK Beauty. It's a small one, similar to this. What is on here? Is that just powder? Maybe I'll just use that. So I like to have a smaller brush so that I can have a little bit more of control. This is an Alamar Beauty brightening brush, but it's synthetic, and I am going to use it to apply my blush. So I'm just going to pick some up. See that? And I'm going to start back and then start pressing it in. And do not use, like, don't really force it into your skin. Let the brush do the work for you, and you'll see how everything just melts together. And I'm not picking up my foundation at all. It's not moving. So, so, so gorgeous. Add just a little bit more. And again, I'm going to start the back, bring it forward. I like to add blush to my forehead. I might go ahead and show you one of the melt ones on the opposite side. And for the melt ones, these are a little bit more emollient. This is Cali Dream. And I find that using a sponge is the best option for these, because every time, not every time, 90% of the time when I use a brush, it can lift. So I am going to take my sponge. Do you see how pigmented this is? This is too much. Don't use this much. I am going to wipe this off. And then just going to go in. Do you see? It's effortless. Now I have a little bit of extra, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on this side too. Plus I want my cheeks to match. It gives you that healthy glow. You've got the coverage that you want. You have the smoothing that you want. But now, see, you could probably see my pimple just a little bit more because I'm putting glowy products on top. But then you're adding in this beautiful glow that, I don't know, this has become one of my favorite applications, which I know a lot of people are scared to put creams on top of powders, but I'm telling you, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And I love this. Now the last thing that I want to do is go in and powder where I want to make sure that I'm blurred just a little bit more. But what you can do, if this is not enough glow for you, this will catch a highlight like nobody's business. So let's say you want to add a hint of highlight right here that just is a blinding highlight. Before you go in with any powders or anything like that, take your highlight. This is kind of tacky right now. It does kind of settle through the day. And I have another trick that I like to use, but take that highlight and do a little spot treatment and spot application, and it's going to really make your cheekbones pop out. That's just if you want to. If I want to add anything, usually I like to keep it a little bit more subtle, so I go in with my 3D all over glow powder. If I go in with something more intense, I love my Coral Rose highlight from GOSS. There's just so many that I really, really enjoy. But this is all cream. I don't want to add that today. I just want to focus on how I perfect the cream look. Now I need to go in with a powder. So what I'm going to do is take my By Terry. You can use whatever you want to. You could also use, this is my project pan. This is the lavender powder. It comes in different colors, but this is from Fenty, and it is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder. If you use just a little bit of this, the lavender one for someone that's my skin tone, they have banana one, all different shades. It's really light and airy, and you can use it in the same way, but I'm going to use my beloved By Terry Pressed Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Royal and Lane Nickel BOM 270. I'm going to pick up some product, and I'm going to start on my pores and then brush toward the cream. I'm going to do one side at a time, and I'm not picking up too much. I do want to make sure that I get right here, right in between where the highlight should be and my eye look, so that it doesn't merge too much. And then just lightly around the edges, and then in the center of my forehead. And then I like to go over my chin. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So this will help re-mattify, re-blur anything that I wanted to make sure stayed matte, stayed really perfected, but I still have that cream glow. For my nose, I'm not really a big fan of putting just cream and leaving it there if it's going to be a long day. If it's not going to be a long day, I'm good, but it can separate if I'm doing like a 16-hour day. So what I like to do in those circumstances, take my powder. This is the 3D All Over Glow Powder and a Sonia G Mini Cheek, and I am just going to set the nose. I'm going to add a little bit on my chin. I'm also going to add a little bit right over top of my forehead, and that'll make sure that I keep my glow, but that it's not too intense and it doesn't separate. The very last thing, and this is completely optional, this is the brush I use to set my face. I would leave it like this. Like, I think this looks amazing, love it. However, if you feel more comfortable, if you put your hands on your face a lot, you don't want your creams to move around, Don't add any extra powder. Just take the brush that you used to set your face and just literally blot over. And that will help everything still look creamy, but not as creamy, so that it will have a little bit more longevity for you. But I'll tell you, even when I don't do that, I don't have issues with anything moving around, unless of course I'm wearing a mask or I actually like touch my face or something like that. Now that I've shown you guys my process, I'm going to tell you about a few other ones that I really am enjoying using. I'm actually testing out right now it's like a gel bronzer and blush that I was told about from Tara Lynn. I'm testing those out. I don't have an actual opinion on them yet, so I might do a get ready with me or something. But I want to start off with powders first because I know I forgot to mention this one. I told you about the by Terry and I told you about the Fenty powder. There's also the one from LYS. This is the translucent one in Resilience. All of the powders that I am mentioning, they just glide across the skin. They don't add texture. They smooth everything out. They're truly beautiful. And in fact, also the new Hindash palette, the Beautopsy palette, that works gorgeously with this application method as well. It is so pretty, and you can intensify the blushes or the bronzer, whatever you'd like with that palette, because they layer on top of the creams very nicely. Let's start off with bronzer contour. I've got to mention the Fenty creams. This is Butter Biscuit number 2. I actually had gotten rid of my bronzers and blushes because I was having issues with most coconut oil derivatives, and now my skin is becoming more tolerant to it. Hydrogenated coconut oil, absolutely not. Straight up coconut oil, absolutely not. Too many coconut oil derivatives or too high, it's a little iffy, but my skin is definitely far more tolerant than it used to be, so I repurchased them. This is, again, Butter Biscuit. And this is one that I would use all over. So this is a really great option. And there's more colors. With the Tom Ford, I know you're getting both the highlight and the contour. However, it only comes in 3 shades. DANESSA MYRICKS, this one is beautiful. This is the Balm Contour. My shade is Light 2. I love this and I love the consistency. It works so beautifully. And again, so many shades. Then I have the Patrick Ta. This is the one that I'm not going to use as much when it comes to the cream. If you're wondering what this looks like and why I'm saying it's super gray, like this might come across a little bit more gray on camera, but in person it's just, it looks flawless to me. In my opinion, I absolutely love the way that this looks. This one, I don't know what it is about it. I love the bronzer, but I would recommend watching the video. I think it's a great product. I think it performs really well. It's just the color for me. This right here is the cream, and then I love the bronzer. So I would still suggest this as long as the colors work for you. And there's 3 different shades when it comes to this, and it's called the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I believe it's the Major Sculpt. I don't see it on here, but I think it's the Major Sculpt. And then I might be alone in my thoughts on this, but I actually think this is a pretty good product. It's from Huda Beauty. It's the Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream, and I use the shade Fair. So that is what this one looks like. So those are my favorites in terms of what I am using right now, except for the Patrick Ta. I just use the bronzer on that side. Now for blushes, if you want to go ease into this, this is basically how I eased into it. This is more of a cream to powder, but it still has that cream type of look. It's the Glow Play Powder blushes from MAC. This is in the shade So Natural. They're bouncy. They are beautiful. You can put them on with just about any brush. If you're just used to matte everything, this will kind of get you used to a cream product. And I have so many colors. I love this. I already showed you the Melt ones. These come in several different colors. These are actually called the Cream Blush Lights. The LYS, I think they restocked on their website over the weekend, but I was hoping that they were going to do it on Sephora. I'm waiting for Sephora. I want just like all of the shades. I just think they're amazing. And then the Fenty Cream Blushes. These are the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blushes. This one is in Rosé Latte. I have to be careful with this one, but it does blend out very, very nicely. And then for highlights, there's a few that I would suggest, again, if you are kind of wanting to dip your toes into it first. The LILA B, my little pebble here, it is so heavy. This is the Be Enchanting Glisten and Glow Skin Illuminator, and it's gorgeous, and it slides like this. This is more of a cream to powder. You can use a brush or a sponge. If you use a brush, either use something like a flimsy brush that will just kind of lightly apply it, or stamp it on. You could even use your fingers. It's really, really pretty. It's so pretty. I wish that I had not waited as long to get that. And then this is a really good one, but you have to not mind micro glitter. This is Diamante, the Torche Lumiere. I'm butchering that, from SURRATT. I just grabbed this. I just think it's really, really pretty. Can you guys see that? It is stunning. It's so stunning. I used this in my recent Get Ready With Me, I do believe, along with the Patrick Ta. And then these are really nice as well. I suggest using a sponge. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is Pillow Talk, the Beauty Light Wand Face Illuminator. I have not really gotten down with the cream contour so much. These can be messy. That's the one thing. These can be messy, but I really like the shade of this. I don't typically use this alone. I like to put it on top of the blush more so, and then add on a little lighter one right on the tops of my cheekbones, but it's super, super pretty. You guys know I'm going to talk about these. Oh, these are so good. This is multi-purpose. You can use it alone. You can use it mixed in with your foundation or on top of your foundation as a highlight, which is how I use it. I have Selenite and Pyrite. These are the Glow Lust by AURIC, and they are absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I will say is that if you don't have a powder underneath and you're just doing all creams, these can move around a little bit, so just be wary of that. But if you have something for them to adhere to, last all day. I think that's all of them. I'm sure I am missing something somewhere, but I just wanted to give you guys the gist of what I like to do to create this look, because this is like my new go-to. I want cream everything, and I love the way that my skin looks with it. I just feel like it looks a little bit more youthful, a little bit more glowy, and I'm definitely here for it. Let me know if this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.